Hi and good morning, everyone. I am back with you. Today, let's switch over to a jocular vein or a lighter vein. All of us are passing through very troubled times, very testing times. So, we are all having different sorts of experiences when we go outside with this social distancing and physical distancing and COVID protocols and whatnot. The other day, I was standing in a queue outside the bank, and every one of us are nowadays masked people. So, this mask eclipses one's face. So, I'll tell you an interesting incident. One gentleman who was waiting in front of me was not aware that the queue had moved and there was a lot of open space in front of him. So I thought I'll refrain from speaking as far as possible. And I wanted to request him with my eyes. And that message failed because my eyes did not communicate properly. This is a predicament all of us can land in unless you have very communicative, very expressive pair of eyes. So what this gentleman did was he looked at me scowling or frowning, which I could make out from the overall facial expression, and shouted at me, "What do you want?" Then I knew I was in the wrong. I should have just asked him or spoken to him. Then I said, "I'm so sorry, the queue has moved on." "Oh, no problem, I'm moving," he said. So these are all small situations which we land into because 75 to 80% of our face is eclipsed or covered or blacked out, and you can't give those smiles or grins or those pleasant expressions as much as it was possible before the non-mask days. So your communication totally is depending on your eyes. So everybody is not endowed with a communicative pair of eyes. Many people may have bloodshot eyes or amber brown affectionate eyes or narrow eyes. So in this case, I realized that my eyes failed to communicate. So this funny thought I shared with my good friend, Mr. Antonio. He is a person who was retired from the Secret Service, a man of meticulous disposition, well mannered to the hilt, and not to be trifled with. So we normally narrate and exchange with each other some of these funny incidents wherein I was sharing a philosophical problem with him of the mismatch between the countenance and your thought or your intention. Your intention may be to be friendly, but your face misrepresents you. What worse disaster can you befall in? So we were just laughing over it. Then he suggested a rereading of an essay written by A.G. Gardiner, the famous, well-known English author, journalist, and essayist. The essay is titled "On Saying Please." We all have studied this sometime during our college days. So I relocated it from Google, then I read it. Then somehow I was convinced about the relevance, some kind of applicability to the predicaments of the current day situations wherein people are not free to have any physical contact, people cannot shake hands, people cannot hug each other, and people cannot give a full grin or a full beaming smile. So we are all handicapped to a very great extent. So that is what I, this was a moment of discovery or an epiphany for me. The essay starts with narrating an incident, a dramatic incident which happened. A lift man or lift operator throws out a customer for not being polite. What actually happened was the customer entered the lift and said top. He didn't say top floor please or top please. And what the liftman was expecting was a bit of courtesy or politeness from the customer. So, of course, what he did was atrocious and he was punished and fined for that. But a bit of civility and politeness, what he thought was, it was not too much for the asking, because he was rendering some kind of service, and that service goes unacknowledged. That tantamounts to insult or affront or humiliation to him. He took it a little too far and he was in a fit of a rage. That should not have happened. But then such situations do happen. Of course, you cannot punish a person legally, or you cannot penalize a person legally for being impolite or uncivil. So he continues the humorous essay. Another incident which is totally the opposite of this. The essayist himself boards a bus without sufficient change to pay for the ticket. So he's in a very embarrassing situation and he fumbles with his pocket. And seeing this and realizing this, the conductor, who is very understanding, almost like an angel, looked at him and said, "That's all right, sir. If you don't have the change, I'll book you through." So that was music to his ears. And it was an exhilarating experience for him. So this he narrates. So how, instead of in place of a bad temper or bad manners, how a courteous behavior or a polite behavior or something out of the way, walking the extra step, all puts you back into a comfortable, beautiful world. So this is what everybody expects from everybody, but then it's very difficult to practice and implement and articulate at the right time. The French people, for example, when they meet each other, religiously they say bonjour, that is good morning, and they never omit s'il vous plaît, that is please, after any sentence or request or anything, whatever situation it is, whether they are at a shop or whether they are at an office, they say, "Could you please help me?" That they say s'il vous plaît, and they say always merci, thank you, and merci beaucoup, that is thank you very much. So these things, these small expressions like saying please and thank you and good morning and no problem, all these are magical words. So they all add joy, peace and harmony to our life. Life becomes more well-oiled, smooth, as Mr. Gardiner says. So I thought I will convey this message because we are passing through very troubled times. Everyone is in a pressure chamber, so everyone has his own problems and issues, and he may be inwardly occupied or rather introverted. So All these things can be overcome. Since we cannot exhibit a smile openly or a hug or a handshake, we can at least say, please, and thank you so much, no problem, after you. All these magical words make this world a better place to live in, because bad temper, they say, bad manners is very contagious or infectious, but so are good temper and good manners. So this will spread like a sunlight, like a fragrance, like a breeze, and put everybody at their ease and in a relaxed position, which is the need of the hour. Thank you.